like,
Welcome into the Marvel Stuff Podcast, and I am glad to be back. And like we do every single week, we're just going to talk about Marvel stuff. Obviously, that's why we're called the Marvel Stuff Podcast.
Didn't even come in with a joke. You had weeks to prepare one of your dumb intro jokes, and instead you went the straight man route. What is being a father done to you?
That's exactly right. It has made me boring and lame and tired, really, is mostly what it has made me. 2 kids is too many kids, I would say. I would argue it's 1 too many kids. But it apparently becomes all worth it when he gets older. So it's a lot of pressure, Cooper. Grow up to be worth my time. It's a bad joke. See? How's that for a joke?
It's a good joke.
So,
good joke,
how's it going, Noah? You're still here.
Hey, Noah's been subbing in for Coach a couple of times. I love that guy. And Josh Kenny for Facebook.
Hey, I do what I can. Here. I'm no coach. My dogs. Yeah, my dad jokes are not on par with coaches, but I'm trying. I'm trying my best.
It more just sounded like a disappointing the child joke more than a dad joke. It's not a dad joke in the sense that it was like ironic, but it was like just deadpan. Like, disappoint me and it's not going to be worth it.
It's not. It's just the way it is. I don't know what to tell. Life is like what it is, Cooper. I disappointed my father, and he disappointed his father for him.
Considering your father, anyway.
All right, let's ride.
Yep, let's ride. Secret Invasion had a finale. This was a season of MCU television. Me and Noah have had some pretty positive reviews on an individual episode basis. Coach, how have you felt about the show up until this episode?
I feel bad now coming in because, I have been listening to you guys and I have been keeping track of Secret Invasion. And every week I've been like, oh, yeah, I like this show better than the internet does. I like this show better than the internet does.
Yeah.
And then the one time I finally get to come on and talk about it, I'm like, no, I think this show sucks as much as the internet does.
Yeah, they did not stick the landing on this.
No,
we're going to get into it, though.
They face planted.
It's a bummer.
I'm not one to say, like, an ending ruins a show to me. Because I still enjoyed overall, I would say, with the 3 hours.
Everyone dunks on Game of Thrones, How I Met Your Mother, Dexter. Before New Blood, if you haven't watched New Blood, it wraps everything up much prettier. But there are a lot of shows that just, there's too much pressure. But then at the same time, this show was 6 episodes, not 9 seasons. So I'm not entirely sure how they messed up the finale this bad.
Big CGI battle. That's how they messed
always. Yeah, but we call that every time they do an MCU show, and they've done it better every time.
But this one didn't need it.
Is this the worst one? I don't know. Yeah. I feel like this might be the worst one.
It's definitely visually the worst one.
Yeah, visually that's true.
Annoying. It also doesn't make a ton of sense.
Nope.
Like I don't understand how when Maw he takes Maw. Is Maw's magic within his body, or is he no magic? I don't understand.
Ebony Maw. Yeah, it's good call, dude. I don't know. It was kind of just like a hodgepodge of powers, and it was weird looking. And Emilia Clarke had a Hulk arm at one point.
Drax arm.
Yeah, she had a Drax arm, looking jacked. I was like, man, give her a dragon or something, man. Come on.
It does make me wonder. Because she's obviously going to be around. Do you think they'll change it? I mean, I know where this is.
Well, she's.
Are they going to change the way it looks? Are they still going to do the whole morphing arms?
It feels like a ripoff. Noah, you might have picked up on this. Does it feel like Metamorpho? It feels like it just looked like Metamorpho through the whole thing. Yeah. And you guys don't know who that is. It's a DC comic character. Go look it up, and you'll know exactly why I said that.
I mean, even then. I'm upset that they were like going the direction of Super Skrulls, and we were getting Super Skrulls type things with Obsidian, and we talked about it in the last episode. And then they were just like, instead of Super Skrull, they're just God. We're just gonna make them God, all the powers, all the time. To the point where when she finished Gravik, I was like, but they have Extremis. Why isn't he healing? That didn't make any. How do you give them powers and then immediately take it away in the same episode?
I know, yeah. He just healed earlier that same battle. I don't know.
He was Super Skrull versus Super Skrull, but the battle was somehow only like 4 minutes long. I'm like, if you're really saying, like, trying to say that they are truly like impressive on an individual basis, they shouldn't be able to top each other that quickly. Like, that would be like that was Hulk and Thing fighting, and all they did was 5 minutes of battle. Like, come on, dude. But at the same time, no one cares about either of these Super Scrolls, so I guess I got to give them some credit for not forcing us to watch more CGI.
You just forced us to not watch any of it. I think would have been the correct
I'm with
answer.
Coach. There should have been no CGI. The most we should have seen of the Super Scrolls is Gravik getting away or Gaia getting blasted, and then they both are unconscious. It was a crime drama. It should have stayed a crime drama.
Yeah, the vial should have been like, oh, there's actually secretly a virus in there. You know what I mean? But like she had taken the antidote before she got there. That's what her pills were.
That would have been more interesting. Yeah, you're right. Well, okay, let's try and distance ourselves from the CGI battle of it all. And how did we feel about Samuel L. Jackson as just like, this is his first, he got to go out and be the lead of an MCU project. I think they did him a little dirty in the end, but overall, like he got chances to show off his acting chops as always. So I don't know. How did you guys feel about it?
For Sam Jackson, I think he's charismatic as ever. I think he's charming. I draw to the screen every time he's on it. I still liked every scene that he was in.
Yeah.
Like him being him, just sort of being around. I thought it was pretty obvious that wasn't Nick Fury in the final episode, which is that's a testament to Sam Jackson in the show that he can do that.
He can act as the character he's been playing for so long, but play it just different enough to where you kind of know it's not him.
It sucks that the audience will forever be like, yeah, but his show sucked. It's like, yeah, but I mean, he was good though. You know? And
I mean, the chances of a season 2 are dead on arrival. Like, is there any way, shape, or form they're just like, yep, we should bring back that show?
I don't think there ever was going to be.
I don't think so either. But I mean, if it was like, if it went gangbusters, you know, they would have done something and be like, maybe it's not a mini series. Maybe it truly is a multi-season deal.
I don't know. I think it was always just going to set up Secret Wars.
Well, at one point it was supposed to be a movie is what I had heard. And then it kind of got converted into a show. And I think a show was the right way to do something like this, but I don't know if they did it right.
I don't think so. I think.
You don't think so? Okay. Fair enough.
I think in terms of like, it might have better as a movie like Civil War did, but I think they would have done wrong like they did Civil War, if that makes sense. Like, I think overall it would have been better as a movie, but they would have probably made it like Captain America and the Secret Invasion, and then just kind of not given us as much as they could give us, but they could have still given us more than what we got. Because Secret Invasion, the whole point of Secret Invasion, the comic book, it's a bunch of heroes figuring out who's the Skrull, not just
I want to say I don't think they conveyed the stakes that well in this. I think that's kind of what my big issue was here. It's supposed to be like we're supposed to be buying into this, like, oh man, World War III is looming, the president's in danger, but it didn't feel big. It didn't feel real. I don't know if you guys felt the same way while watching it, but it's kind of like this feels like low stakes for some reason.
Yeah, it did. But it was their own creation because Secret War is coming. Because what Noah just described, that's what Secret War is going to be.
Right. Further down the line.
So Secret Invasion became this weird, like, well, we need to set up Secret War. I don't know. It just, like, I think it would have made more sense as the plot of a Captain Marvel movie.
Couldn't it? I was just gonna say that. Couldn't it have been the B plot for the upcoming Marvels movie? Like, it didn't feel so important that it needed to be prominently featured. Like, could they have done? I mean, we haven't seen the Marvels yet. A new trailer did drop. I haven't watched it, kind of intentionally, but maybe I will at some point. But maybe it's already jam packed with enough stuff, and they didn't want to try and do that. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things that it could be, but
I don't know if it could have fit into Marvels because we're dealing with Rambo and Miss Marvel. I think that might have been too much.
I don't think it needed to do that. I think, I don't know. If it was up to me, I haven't seen the Marvels yet, but I have a really good feeling I'm going to leave the Marvels and go, yeah, this would have been better off if the Marvels was a TV show that was just Miss Marvel and Monica, and I can hear myself echo, which is great.
Yep.
It comes and goes, which is great. But I think I'm gonna wish they switched him. I really am. Like, I'm gonna get there and be like, I wish Captain Marvel had done a Secret Invasion movie and The Marvels was a 6-episode TV show that focused more on Miss Marvel.
we're getting Marvel's Freaky Friday, and I'm intrigued, but I honestly I don't know if it's gonna be like
It's so weird for a movie. That sounds
it
like
is.
such a better TV show than it does a movie. I don't know. It just seems like they made the wrong flippy floppy decision, and I got a feeling I'm going to be right about that.
We'll see. I mean, the movie's coming out relatively soon, so
I also think that they waited too long. If they would have done Secret Invasion right after Endgame, I think it would have held more stakes, because then that whole the harvest and stuff like that would still be fresh in our minds.
Yeah, that's such a good point. That's such a good point.
But if you want to, you're also saying we should have followed this up with the peak of the MCU, which you could say any show or movie would be successful if that were the case.
Well,
If
no,
they immediately followed Endgame.
no, because Black Widow didn't do well following Endgame.
That was a weird prequel sequel situation, though.
But I think it makes Nick Fury in the fight, because, as we stated, Secret Wars, Invasion, Kang, those are the next things.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. But for Nick Fury to come out of the blip and then have to tackle the Skrull situation, I think would have made a lot more sense than it happening years past and then finally we get Nick Fury.
No, everything Noah, this is actually the smartest thing that Noah's maybe ever said in his life. I would argue, probably top 5. We'd have to ask.
I'll tell my college professors that. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
you should do your dissertation on this.
That's funny. It's like, it actually, for every reason, because of what he just said, right? It makes this show better. It's not this weird, like, where was Nick Fury? Oh, he came back. That's dumb. It would have made more sense if he came back and now he's dealing with this fact that he left the Skrulls here for 5 years. But he really wasn't his fault. But, it's a better drama that way. It also makes the rest of what we did see, Shang-Chi and Spider-Man, all those movies better, because now we've got the end of Secret Invasion. And now we're questioning Skrulls the whole time, because now we've seen Skrulls in the world, and we know Captain. Now we know Rhodey is fake when he shows up. Things like that.
And then the harvest, we now know that a Skrull could be anybody, because they can take on everyone's powers. It's not just about we have now, like, especially if you had Skrulls out there get the serum or get the harvest at the end, Gravik winning almost. Now we have
what happened
we don't know
to the chamber in this weird CGI battle fight at the end, because the two of them started. Did it break? The
machine itself.
Gravik died.
Gravik is super dead.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like the show very definitely implies that Sonya and Amelia, whatever the character's name is, Gaia. It very highly implies that they are creating their own secret Skrulls army, and they're going to have this ability to make.
I wouldn't be surprised if it connected to Captain America, Brave New World, because they changed it. Brave New World, the Serpent Society. That could be the kind of the route they're going, because they got Seth Rollins from the WWE playing a villain in the next Cap movie, and if they had that Sonya connection, like, that could lend itself to kind of legitimizing this show just a touch more. And honestly, if they use Emilia Clarke in a better way, she is like the queen on the chessboard. Like, she can kind of do whatever the heck she wants.
I just feel like this all would have made so much more sense if we hadn't taken a 3-year break of introducing new characters.
Now,
that's just.
Was it a COVID thing? I don't know. Like, I mean, they determined the order a while ago. Maybe was this supposed to be released earlier? I don't know. There's lots of things that. I mean, all we can really say is what actually happened, and you're right. It feels like it was delayed. So
it was weird. I just feel like the whole previous phase, because it was a whole phase of like 2+ years. I mean, I get that COVID extended a little bit, of just nothing but introducing characters and wrapping up stories.
Right.
It feels like, and then now Secret Invasion is like, all right, now let's continue the plot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I don't know. They've lost their way a little bit, maybe, but at the same time, they are still putting out quality content. Like, everybody's like, oh yeah. I saw a meme online where people, like, the MCU fans are going so back and forth, like, oh my god, we're never gonna go back. And then Guardian 3 comes out. It's like, we never even left. We're gonna be the greatest thing that's ever happened. And it's just, it is a little annoying having the inconsistency, but at the same time, I'd rather have some ups and downs as opposed to nothing but downs and then just watch the whole thing implode on itself, which is something we could have seen by now, and that's simply not the case. So, I mean, silver lining there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. People on the internet will tell you that the MCU is falling apart because Secret
Right.
Invasion. Secret Invasion is a 6-episode show on Disney Plus. It's not that deep, man.
No, it's
But
really not that deep.
It's not.
Yeah,
And as we talked
that's
about the other time, Josh, like to a degree, up until this point, it wasn't like you can tell Secret Invasion shouldn't have been put on Disney Plus. It should have been put on Hulu or somewhere where you're going to get more adult eyes on it until this final fight. Because this final fight felt like Disney being like, we got to get the kids back. Big CGI fight.
no kids are watching this show. You and I, yeah, we did talk about this in a previous
absolutely,
episode, but
no
like,
kids.
no kids are watching this. So, like, why not? And they did smart up a little bit and put the first 3 episodes. I don't know if they put the whole season. Honestly, with the reaction that the show is getting, they might just send it and end up putting it all on Hulu. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
I did want to get your opinion on that, Coach, because me and Noah discussed it a little bit. But do you think that there's like a future where Disney can kind of use its brand a little bit wiser for more of the adult skewing Marvel content? Because they did put Logan and Deadpool and a bunch of like the legacy X-Men movies and old stuff on Disney Plus, which is great and all, but would it future projects be better served on a different streaming service like Hulu for a broader audience?
No, I don't think so. I would rather it all be in a singular location. I think there's something to like knowing I go to Disney to watch Marvel things.
Can you straddle it though? Because I mean, I'll just use the CW as an example. You can watch the CW every week on the CW app, like the day after it actually comes out on TV with commercials, or you wait till the whole season's over and it all drops on Netflix at the end. Could they do something along those lines, or even the next day you could release it on Disney Plus and Hulu? I don't know. I just don't know if that would help things here.
No, I just think you just make a better show.
Fair point, I guess.
Ultimately, I think if the show was better, I think like who cares? I think not many kids really watch the MCU all that much.
That's true. They watch their characters. You're 100% right. There's kids show up for Spider-Man. Like that's what they're going to show up for day in and day out until the end of time. They'll show they'll show up for Thor. They'll show up for Cap and Iron Man even a little bit still. But yeah, you're just
kids love Hulk. My
kids love Hulk. That's true. Hulk's a big one for kids because he's just a big dumb green guy, and it's send it. Except now he's not dumb, and it bothers me.
I have that Marvel shirt on, and it's got all the characters, but it's got the Hulk in it. So my daughter just all the times, Hulk smash,
Hulk smash.
You're
right. You're right.
You're such a shit. So yeah, I think this is not something the kids were ever going to watch. I think it just wasn't good. I think ultimately they just a lot of weird choices. Like I said earlier in the season, I pointed out, I was like, I really want there to be this moment where you realize, psych, Nick Fury like was ahead of them the whole time, and that was just never.
They should have like Queen's Gambited or something, or like Sherlock Holmes, like he's the only one that sees the plot, or any Batman graphic novel, like
yeah, but like never happened. It
didn't happen. Yeah, you're right. He kind of did Nick Fury a little bit of a disservice. Like his like epic face off of the graphic wasn't even him. And like he wasn't 10 steps ahead. He just like he prevented the president from being assassinated, but it was very reactionary. He wasn't 12 steps ahead. Exactly.
That scene was lame. If it would have been like, oh, the president's about to make the call, and then Nick Fury just like shoots Rhodey in the back of the head out of nowhere.
That scene took way too long. Where he's like arguing with the president, like, bro, you're the one with the gun. Just fucking plug him.
If you just shoot him, you'll immediately see that it's the wrong color blood.
Exactly.
And everything's fine.
Yeah. Why did he get delayed so much?
Also, I thought like it's really weird because we now know going into Brave New World that Harrison Ford is going to play the president as Thunderbolt Ross.
They could have just killed him. Good point.
Wait, do we know that Thunderbolt Ross is going to be president?
I didn't know that. But
they state in like one of the things that it's President Thunderbolt Ross or something like that.
Maybe he's president of the like company. I mean, he might be president of the United States. It seems possible.
I guess I don't, but it seems like this guy was definitely I don't know.
Who knows?
That'll be a weird.
We're a few years out. I mean, that president.
Right,
I mean,
and I
presidents
think
get
that's what's gonna
assassinated.
I think Thunderbolt is going to probably have maybe even a harsher reality for the Skrulls, and that's what gets him the presidency, and that's what leads to the Thunderbolts going on that like mission. Is because he's creating almost the Dark Avengers. That's where I'm assuming that's going.
I could see it.
And that they're turning the Thunderbolts into the Dark Avengers.
Yeah. Appreciate that. I think it was a Siege joke by possibly one Ryan Bush. I didn't actually see who posted it, but I ban Ms. Marvel. Smart. She's really not a great one to have. You got to make sure you ban her. Yeah,
she's probably banned. I don't know. We'll see if Monica proves to be interesting. Yeah, I'm not too worried about it. I just think the show was bad, and I think we can all live with the fact that it was a poorly executed show.
I wish it was good, though.
I wish everything was good.
I know, but you go back and listen to my reaction to every episode. Like, I was like, I'm genuinely feeling pretty positive toward this show. I like the crime drama of it. I like where this is building. And then CGI battle in the sky. Same thing they just keep on doing. Why do they keep doing it? It's almost never cool. It was cool in like WandaVision. And even that, you could have done a cooler like way of handling that. It's just, I don't know. It's frustrating.
It's because they're treating the TV shows like the movies, and you can't do that. You shouldn't do that.
They're different they're different platforms for
but they're not
reason.
treating them as
I know you're right. They should though.
Well, hopefully the writer's strike will end, and then writers will come back and solve things. Yeah. In the meantime,
while we're waiting on that, since the writers are on strike and we're not officially paid by Marvel, we're going to go into a pitch meeting here.
Yeah, we're allowed.
We're going to jump in. Yeah, exactly. We're not part of SAG-AFTRA and anything like that. So Noah,
not yet.
No, you and I discussed doing a nice pitch me episode, and I want to hear your pitch for. All right. No, Coach just went in and out. That was wild. Midnight Suns was the idea.
Yes,
but I also eventually want to get to the point where we talk about what direction we want to take the MCU. So maybe we could just two birds, one stone. Do we think this should go into the dark mystic of it all, or what are we thinking here?
I mean, if we're talking like general directions of the MCU, right? I think
the multiverse is too much, dude. I can't stand this.
I'm not a huge multiverse thing. So I like going the X-Men route. That's, you got to have a section that's the X-Men.
Yes.
That's obvious. I don't even think we need to discuss that. We already know what's happening.
No, that and Fantastic Four, like those are the things that are going to help revive all of the interest. And I'm so glad Deadpool 3 got moved up because that's going to just instill all the hype.
The question I have though is, do we think that? I think the X-Men can almost have their own plot. I mean, it's got to connect to the MCU. It's got to like have crossovers, but I almost want them to have their own main villain and their own. You know what I mean? I don't want them dealing with the Super Skrulls. I don't care. Like I want them dealing with Doctor.
That's a very good point. We got the first couple of phases of the MCU were trilogies, and for the most part, except in Cap's case, I suppose his third one was nothing but a crossover. But they kind of were self-contained stories with cameos from other MCU characters. But then once you get into ones further down the line, it's kind of like they're kind of co-leads with other established Avengers. And yeah, I think X-Men could kind of be left to its own devices. If you have to carry one to like, okay, this guy's here for that, I guess that's fine. But you're absolutely right. I don't need a team of 6 X-Men showing up in Shang-Chi 2. And honestly, that would frustrate me. So that you're right. They should go the X-Men route, but it should be its own like self-contained story.
Right, and I don't need their villain to be Kang. I don't need the X-Men.
No, they have their own rogues gallery. They don't need Kang. If anything, the X-Men character, like their villains are way cooler than Kang, in my opinion.
I mean, the thing with me is I think Kang, in all honesty, outside of the stuff that's going on with Majors, is him or Galactus is the next person in which everyone is involved with. The Fantastic Four get involved with him. X-Men get involved with him. He is the next just kind of like annoying person that even more than Thanos. X-Men never mess with Thanos.
No.
They're not on his radar. They have Apocalypse. But someone who messes with multiverse and time distortion, he's on everyone's radar.
Yeah, I know, but to me, that's annoying. I don't want the X-Men to deal with the multiverse.
I mean, I
Like,
don't think they'll have to deal with him the first movie or even the first couple of movies. Or if they
yeah, that's
get
all I mean.
introduced in the
That's fine.
way that it seems like they're going to be, they're going to be possibly like after Kang, which I don't want because I feel like that's taking too long. The fact
Yeah.
that we haven't gotten any
I
information on
mean,
Fantastic
you could have
Four,
a Kang face off, and that's the intro to some X-Men characters. Maybe that's
Yeah, I don't want
the
that either.
solution. But I don't know. There's lots of different things that could happen here. But Noah, Midnight Suns. Who's your group? Who we talking here?
so my group for Midnight Suns, it is Damian Hellstorm, Moon Knight, Blade, Doctor Strange,
Into it.
Ghost Rider, and then there's Nico Minoru, who is kind of the catalyst.
Runaways.
Nico's awesome.
Nico's sick.
Yes.
Play Midnight Suns, the video game. I started playing it again recently, and it's still super fun.
And it's really wonderful because we have characters who are now established who I would really want to see, such as, of course, Blade, Moon Knight, but also we get people who are on the outskirts of the Moon Knights who we've already seen. The Black Knight, Elsa Bloodstone.
Those are two big ones that I think you got. Coach, you brought up the point that like we could have multiple kind of like deviations of like where the storyline's going to go, so they're not all going toward the same thing. I would absolutely love like just this kind of emo, dark, magic kind of route that Noah's talking here to be one of the directions for.
I think that's exactly it.
Yeah,
right, we're gonna do an X-Men thing here. We're gonna do this like continue the multiverse thing here, and then we're gonna do the Midnight Suns route over here. Like I think, right. And I would be all for that.
Yeah, me too.
Because I think in that realm, the perfect villain who's kind of an overarching villain through all three movies that I would put Midnight Suns in.
Mephisto confirmed.
It would be Mephisto.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if you were actually going to go that route. I was like, this is going to be funny or right, so I'm into it either way.
Yeah, I think Mephisto playing the villain that is not just defeated in the first movie, I think really is perfect because the whole point of the first movie is him, because we've already done the Scarlet Witch route, him looking for Nico.
Yeah,
her chaos.
It is official that we got Sacha Baron Cohen, right? That wasn't just a rumor. That was like a true signing, correct?
I believe it's a true signing. I do believe that he is signed on for Marvel. I don't know if he was.
He's so chaotic. I'm so into it. Anyway, I'm having the audience picture Borat as the main villain for these guys, and then keep going. Wait, do you want to keep Nico from the Runaways TV show, or are you just kind of gonna leave that in the dust because it's been a while?
I'd leave it in the dust.
I think she's sadly a little aged out now, but I also think that Nico, actually having her be the catalyst, and we get an older Nico, because I love Runaways. Runaways is actually one of my favorite comics of all time.
It's a great book. Yeah, I had to read it for an actual comics class in college. I was like, this is legendary. I love this.
Brian K.E.V.I.N, it was one of the first like full issues that I bought with my own money. So I love the Runaways. I love Nico. I love Alex, who no one ever talks about because he's dead. But anyways,
spoiler.
I like the fact that Nico's getting older. I think the fact that the Runaways are getting older makes sense. The fact that Nico's the only one we really see anymore is kind of detriment. Molly's interesting. Caroline's, like, they're all so cool. But she fits perfectly in the Midnight Suns, and I think her being the catalyst because Mephisto wants the Staff of One or her magic because he lost Wanda, and she is the closest thing he's gonna get.
Now, okay, Ghost Rider. Are we going main Ghost Rider or two Ghost Riders here? We're doing doing Ronnie.
I want to do Ronnie. I love Johnny.
I agree because I like the idea of Youngblood. Although if Zolo wasn't cast as Blue Beetle, honestly, he'd be a pretty legendary Ronnie, in my opinion. I think he would be like a really good cast. Which I guess he could do both. I mean, he's young and active, so really he can do whatever he wants.
I would sign him. I think it would be great.
I would get the guy from he was in Sons of Anarchy. He was in the movie Lowriders.
You sticking with the motorcycle vibe? I don't know who you're talking about though.
So I gotta imagine again the aged out issue is going to be coming into play. I don't know if you're
Well,
talking
I
about either,
mean, Ronnie's what, like in his late.
Ronnie's like early 20s is how he's in most iterations that I've. I mean, I'm not super familiar with the character, but in most of what I've seen, he's early 20s.
I thought his brother. Oh, I guess his brother's a teenager. Because I mean, the whole
Yeah.
point about it is the fact that his brother.
Yeah, well, that was an excellent. I don't know.
Theo Rossi. The guy Theo Rossi. He's definitely who I would put as Ronnie. In terms of like the main part is like Nico out trying to run some demons or being attacked by demons sent by Mephisto.
Into it. Yep.
She is almost taken before Blade and Damien Hellstorm come and stop it. They kind of explain like, do you know who Damien is?
I don't. That's the only character that you've listed that I genuinely don't know who that is.
So Damien Hellstorm, he is kind of
He's got a cool trident.
He does. He is the son. He's known as the son of Satan. He is very prolific in terms of dark magic, and he teeters on anti-hero.
Okay, Satan spawn. That's all I needed. I can imagine it. I mean, all right, cool. Yeah, I mean, anything with more Blade would be great.
Yeah, they had a TV show with him as well that was on Hulu.
Oh yeah, I see it right here.
What show is that? What are we talking about here?
I'm not going to click on it, but it's called Hellstorm.
Oh,
it's just called Hellstorm.
Oh, I think I remember. I never watched it, but I think didn't it get like wrecked after a couple episodes? Is that kind of what happened? Yeah. Okay. Anyway. Yeah. Okay. Well, that sounds like a fun premise. I mean, Nico living up to her runaway's namesake. I'm into that. Running away from Mephisto's demons. Cool.
And even if we really, really wanted to play it up, we could have, sadly, the runaways being killed off in the beginning, and it is her being alone.
Now, do we think that this would venture too far into like the New Mutants territory that wasn't overly successful? I'm definitely hearing myself echo right now.
No, the way that I had it, when I say Doctor Strange is going to get the same kind of cameo that he got in Thor Ragnarok.
Quick and easy, in and out.
He's just there to explain the rules, explain what's happening. I get what you mean.
Yep. And the only reason that they do that is probably because either Damien isn't there yet. I think Damien comes in probably around like the halfway mark, or Damien comes in around the halfway mark when Doctor Strange like explains this is the devil, this is Satan himself. They go to make this deal, or Blade is like, well, I'm not giving the kid up. Moon Knight's like, hey, we're not doing that. So Doctor Strange and Elsa Bloodstone are two cameos that I would really very much enjoy. And then at the end of the movie, I would have Elsa come back and bring up Man-Thing, because I think Man-Thing needs to be a part of the Midnight Suns later on.
I'm going to go a different direction. If we're doing like a little pitch me style thing, I'm going to go a different direction. Because I want it to smooth better with what we've already established. And I don't want to wait 20 years for it to happen. I would go opening scene. I like the Nico idea. Because of the staff of one.
Yeah.
You guys don't know. It's got a cool powers, but it can only be used once. But, they fudge how it works all the time.
You got to think of different ways to phrase the power you're trying to use. So she can shoot fire bolts pretty often. She just has to think of a new name every time type of deal.
But the idea is it has power similar to this Book of Ashanti that we hear about in Doctrine. It's got like a really powerful power.
Yes.
Right. So I like this idea. We got to get her involved. I would do like opening scene is a couple of heavy hitters that we already know. Moon Knight, Blade, maybe. Well, probably Blade and what's his face's character from Eternals.
Oh, Black Knight.
Black Knight.
I would probably do Blade and Black Knight
Get me in there.
are on a mission together to protect this girl. They fail. Wand ends up with Mephisto. I like the Mephisto idea. I could see it going the Dracula style, but he's not really going to use the magic. So I would go Mephisto. He successfully casts some sort of spell with this spell of one that puts the world in a really dark place. Now you got a really dark setting that's not exactly in the MCU, so you can fudge the rules a little bit more. And now from there, Blade's got to go back. They've got to start teaming up with people. He runs into Elsa first. I think it makes the most sense because she's going to be the person I think who's going to have the easiest time. She's got Man-Thing. She can guide them into creating a team now. You pick up a couple powerful magicians. You can go a lot of different directions. You can go Magique. You could do a lot of things from here. You could go Doctor Strange. I like the idea, Doctor Strange comes in, explains the rules. This is how you guys could win. Portal dimensions, this, that.
You could also start her off at Doctor Strange's because she is a witch. If she's training under Strange or even her grandmother trained her.
I think that's a fun way to do it, right? If she, instead of doing the Blade thing, Doctor Strange is the one who loses her to Mephisto, and Doctor Strange has to put a team together.
The more we're talking about this, the more I wish that we had Nico in the America Chavez role from Multiverse of Madness, because that feels like it would have worked very similar. But
yeah, the only downside is Chavez does multiverse, so
yeah,
it'd be one thing if it was Doctor Strange in the deal with the devil, then I'm all for it. But I think it's a very similar role that we're talking about with Nico, which is why I'm afraid to have Doctor Strange be very prominent.
Why don't we swap out with Wong then? I mean, is there something wrong with that? I mean, Wong's kind of been the connective tissue a lot. He is the new Sorcerer
because
Supreme.
He's been the connective tissue too much is why.
Yeah, because Wong in the comics does not mean that much, and it also seems
no, he doesn't. That's true.
Ooh,
what if we went a third route?
The other Asian actor that was weird when Wong showed up in Shang-Chi.
What if we throw in Mordo though, and he is kind of like a faint good guy, and he gets a hold of this Nico is kind of the sorcerer type first, tries to take her under his wing instead of killing her, and we kind of go a darker route there, and then she could kind of be facing off against someone like Doctor Strange.
I could see it being
keep things moving.
I could see it being more like a Mordo makes a deal with the devil.
Ooh, yeah.
I'll get you this. I'll get you the staff. I'll make a deal with you, Mephisto. I'll take out this Nico. I'll get you the staff.
Yep.
But then it ends up in the same place I'm talking about. This dark world. A team needs to get put together. Yeah. I don't know.
I like that. No, that would definitely work because Mordo would, instead of having to go individually and kill every sorcerer, he could just be like, spell of one, kill every sorcerer. I'm into that. That's a good deal with the devil. Oh, we need more of those in the MCU.
The other one that I thought which would be cool would be if they explain something's been taken, they have to make a deal, and then they're like, oh well, we can just use Doctor Strange's magic. He's like, no, my magic won't work. You have to do the dark arts. And then it's like, oh well, don't. It's like, no. I'm talking voodoo. Because then you get Dr. Voodoo in there. Because hoodoo is all about.
He's deep cuts, but also if you could make it work right, it could work.
Especially because Brother Voodoo is the sorcerer. Dr. Voodoo is the Sorcerer Supreme in the comic books right now, and he deals with dark arts a lot more than Doctor Strange ever did. And he has the Strange Academy.
I mean, we're kind of
Nico Minora is in right now.
I mean, we're going into the circle a little bit, but literally, we could just be like, "Oh yeah, Scarlet Witch is now a dark arts expert." So let's have Elizabeth Olsen do it. Why not?
I do think there's a route to be explored instead of doing the multiverse thing. Like we said, there's the X-Men route; they're dealing with their thing. I think there's a route for a dark magic set of characters. I think people liked the Halloween special, so people like the werewolf.
They also need to acknowledge that I know it's kind of niche, but the DC animated movies all had a connective tissue with Justice League Dark and John Constantine, and Sandman just came out on Netflix. And I think that people aren't giving the audience enough credit that this is more popular than you think it is. And I think it's the niche will still make you plenty of money, and it would finally kind of switch things up for everybody else.
I mean, I think between Blade, like Blade, Elsa, and Kit Harington, I think that's already enough star power to get people rolling. Like, as long as the Blade movie is good, I think you got a real shot.
Man, I don't know what they're gonna do with this Blade movie, man. Do they try and go like full origin story, or I feel like that movie specifically has to be mid-career. I mean, you can't. I would hate to see him like, well, this is what I am. I'm the Daywalker. I think they have to treat it kind of the way they treated the Spider-Man movies, where it's just like Spider-Man's already here, or like the Pattinson Batman, like his parents are dead. Do we really need to see that scene again? No, so we skipped it, and it works.
Vampires are around. We had bigger problems than vampires. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. I think having that Halloween special really made it where we don't need his origins, because they're like, hey, werewolves exist, monsters exist, woo woo woo. Like, we're not gonna need to get what a Daywalker is. We should be able to understand we got vampires.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, that's something that really needs the writer's strike to get through if we're gonna ever advance things like that. But I'm not too worried about it. I think this is a cool route to go. I am fearful that the MCU is so far down one path. Like, everything
hard to turn the ship around. We're heading towards the iceberg.
Split the ship up.
Right. Yeah. This ship is too big. We just need 2 Titanics.
That splits off and goes around.
As soon as it hits the iceberg, just like kind of split it, multiple man style. And then it's like, it doesn't matter. It's fine. We didn't hit the iceberg. Now there's 2. You're right. I kind of have had this fear for the MCU for even longer than it not being a success. Like, I'm glad they were able to pull it off for Endgame, but I was fearful going into that movie, trying to fit that many heroes and villains into like one picture. It was kind of an insane premise. They pulled it off, flying colors, but from the rumors that I've been hearing, like, the next couple Avengers movies are gonna like have even more characters. I'm like, why? I get that you're going for the comic book crossover, which is almost always the best selling comic books on the rack. I get that they're trying to catch lightning in a bottle, but at some point you're watering down your characters too much. There's too many there. We need, like, maybe that is what they're doing here, though. That's the best part, is like, we don't know for sure, but the Secret Wars and Kang Dynasty could be entirely separate Avengers.
I was just gonna ask that.
I was just thinking, like, I hope so. I pray to God that that's actually what it is, because if they try and have every single MCU character show up in both Avengers movie, I might physically vomit.
That's too much CGI. I will die.
I do agree that we just need to have the team split up. I almost wish S.H.I.E.L.D. still existed, so you could be like, this is the team that S.H.I.E.L.D. is taking on, this is the team that the Rogue Avengers are taking on. But that's why they need to start, like, officially making teams. We need to, like, get Young Avengers together.
But instead, they're just like, well, here's a multiverse, and here's the entire 2000s X-Men franchise introduced into the MCU now. It's like, here's all these characters. They already have movies, so now they're just going to show up when we need them, and that's... multiverse, the fad wore down on me real quick. I kind of don't want it. I'm over the multiverse thing, man. And that's what this saga is called. I know, but you got a little bit of hope that they, like, I get why it was so popular, because they hit on the nostalgia along with the popularity of the characters of the now. But it's just, at this point, man, let it go. I don't need... The stakes are non-existent. If one guy dies, well, now we got Earth 919, and he's fine. And he's the same as our version, except this guy's blonde, and that's the big difference. Like,
cool. Blonde people are hotter. There's no doubt about it.
Depends who you ask.
I mean, I get it. I
Hitler. I would ask Hitler.
No, that's a bad guy to call.
Yeah, I wouldn't go with that one. But for me, my big thing is, for the multiverse, I do like the fact that they did the nostalgia thing. I think it's
done, though.
It's done, but
it already happened. Please don't do it more.
I think they didn't crap their pants. I think they added, it's too long. Like, in terms of, like, we got Shang-Chi, Black Widow, and stuff like that at the beginning of this is all technically the same phase.
let me pitch something to you, all right? If you're going to eat Taco Bell, you're flying by the seat of your pants, trying to get home to the home bowl. You got to get there. You make it just in time. You didn't crap your pants. Are you really going to risk it getting that same meal at Taco Bell, that same drive, just in
this is
case
a
there's
terrible
more
metaphor.
traffic? No,
Because the answer is absolutely yes. Everyone does. That's why Taco Bell is still in business.
I know, but
So
one of
we
these
know
times
the answer.
you're going to get crap in the pants.
And you're
the-
still gonna
One of
want you're gonna go
Right,
back to Taco
one.
Bell.
Right. You said one of those times. So far, I'm hitting a pretty good success rate. I'm going to keep trying. For me,
Yeah,
I think,
listen, Russian roulette 5 out of 6 times, you're fine.
and people play Russian roulette. So what does that say about?
I got one.
There's a
I got
lot
one
more
more
suicidal
question.
people than we think.
I got one question. I really want to know the answer to. To bring it back to Secret Invasion, one question before we jump off. We were talking about it earlier, right? If Secret Invasion would have been right after Endgame. What if they had just done the whole Scroll storyline first, and then stopped, and then did the multiverse storyline? Would we enjoy it better if, like, we just done the Secret Invasion either just happened first, and we were just starting the multiverse, or like they just Secret Invasion didn't even exist, Secret Wars we didn't know about, and then we were just doing a multiverse saga.
All cards on the
Actually-
table. Go ahead, Noah.
Actually, I love what Coach did, but what I want to do is I want to make that the question for next week's episode so people
All
can
right.
write in.
I'm
like
into
that.
it. I will say all cards on the table though. I don't like scrolls. I think they're stupid.
I do too.
The main idea is kind of cool. Like, ooh, they could be anyone, but that wears off real quick. And I'm done with these stupid green aliens. I don't know. I have a history of hating on galactic adventures, so I guess this is just par for the course. But get wrecked, scrolls. I don't need to see more of you, but we're gonna
I'm curious to
do
know.
it anyway.
Yeah, I want to
Yeah.
know what the audience says. Do you guys think it'd be better if they did a singular story at a time?
That'll be this week's poll. If
Or
you guys
if they-
listen to us on Spotify, I will make
Gotcha.
that this poll. And we've been getting. Well, by the way, guys, thank you for being so interactive
Engaging.
with our polls lately. Yeah, I mean, it's so much more fun. Like last week's episode was a Spider-Man 4 pitch with me and Noah, and that was specifically from a fan. Like, if you guys have cool ideas, I mean, we're doing this podcast every week until the wheels fall off. So keep giving us
And
ideas.
we all have 2 kids.
Until everyone has 2 kids, and then no one's doing the podcast.
Ooh, no, but then we hand it off to our oldest kids, and then it's just
That's
like
true.
Marvel stuff Junior until they get old enough.
Yes.
They're just talking about the Spider-Man and friends.
I like blue and green on Spider-Man. I
He
don't
would
know
just
why
be
he's
like-
blue and red.
Hulk smash for like an hour and a half, and then
Yep. Yeah, my baby. Like
That'd be-
they should really bring Baby Shark into the MCU. Is really what's missing here.
you guys heard the duck song. Wow. All right. Thanks for hanging out. This was fun. I
Yep.
hope you guys listened. We said thanks for interacting, and we'll see you guys next week. We don't have anything to review, but we do want to talk. So
Yep.
we'll
We'll
put
be
a
back.
poll up, and we love you guys. Try not to have too much fun without us.